Hello friends, in this video we will look at the steps to file H4 EAD application. And before we jump into I-765 form, let's take a look at the eligibility requirements to file H4 EAD. The applicant is eligible to file EAD if applicant spouse has approved or receipt notice of H1B, if applicant spouse has approved I-140, if applicant has approved or receipt notice of H4. Some of you may not have H4 approval or receipt notice, but you may have H4 visa stamped on your passport, and that is enough to apply H4 EAD. Then let's take a look at how to file H4 EAD. H4 EAD application cannot be filed online for H1B dependent. H4 EAD application must submit paper form I-765. Let's look at how to fill I-765 form. Now go to your browser, type H4 EAD application and search. Select the first link, that is from USCIS. And here the title of the page is Employment Authorization for H4 Dependent Spouses. On here you see I-765 application for Employment Authorization form. Just click on that. And now you're on I-765 application for employment authorization page. You can scroll down to forms and documents section and then just download I-765 form. And here is the form I-765 application for employment authorization. And this form is pretty simple to fill in. On the top right hand side, you see expires 7/31/2022, and this is where you can identify whether this form is still valid. And if this date is like older date, you may have to go in and look for a form that is still valid. If you look at the bottom of the page, you see an edition date, which should be same as the one that you found on USCIS website. So the first section that appears is for USCIS use only, so you can skip that. Either you can take printout of this form and fill the information in black ink, or type the information within the PDF. And personally, I would prefer typing it in. That way you have an option to override information quickly as needed without needing to take multiple printouts. In total, this form has 6 parts, and most of the applicants only have to fill part 1, 2, and 3. The other parts 4, 5, and 6 may not be required if you are filling this document by yourself. Part 1, reason for applying. In here, select 1A, initial permission to accept employment if you are applying for the first time, or select 1B if your EAD card is lost, stolen, or damaged, or select 1C if you are renewing your EAD. When you renew your EAD, make sure to attach your prior I-765 document. Part 1 is complete, and now let's move on to part 2, information about you. And here you have to fill in your first name and last name, and if you have a middle name, you'll have to fill that out. And other names if used. So if you have other names used previously, and you may have to provide all those details. Then you should provide your US mailing address. The option 5A is in care of name, if any, and you can leave this blank because you're filling on behalf of yourself. 5B to 5F is your address. Number 6 is your current mailing address the same as your physical address? If you choose yes, then you don't have to fill the US physical address below. If you choose no, then you'll have to provide the physical address below. Other information section. Number 8 is alien registration number, and number 9 is USCIS online account number. And these are not mandatory. If you have one, you can fill that in or leave it blank. Then gender, and marital status. Number 12 is, have you previously filed Form I-765? If you are applying for H4 EAD for the very first time, you can choose no. If you are renewing your H4 EAD, then you may have to choose yes. 13A, has the SSA ever officially issued a social security card to you? And the options are yes or no. You can choose yes if you already have H4 EAD and you have SSN. If you are applying H4 EAD for the first time and you do not have SSN before, then you choose no. 13B asks you to provide the SSN number if you have one, or leave it blank. If you are applying H4 EAD for the first time and you do not have SSN before and you would like to apply SSN along with this form, then you have to choose yes for 14 and 15. Options 16A to 17B provide applicant's father name and mother's name. Enter your country or countries of citizenship in 18A and 18B. Scroll down to page 3. On page 3, place of birth. So make sure all this information on this section is exactly the same as the information that is in your passport. The next section is information about your last arrival in the state. Fill in from 21.8 all the way through 23. And these informations are already on your I-94. The next section is information about your eligibility category. If you are H-1B dependent and you're applying for H-4 EAD, make sure to choose C26. C goes in the first box and 26 goes in the next box. You can skip 28 through 28C. On 29, provide the receipt number of your H-1B spouse most recent Form I-797 notice for Form I-129. And that's it. Part 2 is done. Part 3, applicant statement, contact information, declaration, certification, and signature. Select option 1A. Then make sure to fill in applicant's contact information. Here you have to fill in your telephone number and mobile number and email address. Scroll to page 5, and the only thing that you need to fill in here is the applicant signature section on the left hand side, which is 7A and 7B. And 7A, which is something you have to take a print out of this page and then you have to sign it, and 7B is something you can type it in. Let's take a look at how to fill G-1145 form, which is e-notification of application / petition acceptance. Go to your browser and type in G-1145 application and click on the first link from USCIS, and you will have a link to the G-1145 form, and then click the link to download the form. Adding this form along with your H4 EAD application will let USCIS to send email or text notification upon receiving your H4 EAD application. Scroll down to the bottom of the form and fill in first name, last name and middle name, and email address and phone number of the applicant. Make sure to clip this application on top of your I-765 application. The supporting evidence document that you would need to file H4 EAD are copy of I-797 approval notice for Form 539 and I-94 arrival and departure record, copy of latest EAD if you are renewing EAD, copy of biometric page, copy of H4 most recent visa stamped on passport, marriage certificate. Then you would also need most recent I-140 approval notice of your spouse, and then current H-1B receipt or approval notice, two identical 2x2 passport style color photo. Filing fee and payment method. Applicant may pay USCIS with following options: money order, personal check, or cashier check. The filing fee for H4 EAD is $410. Make sure the check has your name and address printed, and you fill in the date in the format of month, date, and year. Then the pay to the order of should be US Department of Homeland Security. And on the bottom of the check, on the for field, you have to fill in for I-765 application for employment authorization. Also make sure to sign your name. Let's take a look at where to send H4 EAD application. And if you look at your H-1B spouse receipt number, and if it begins with EAC or LIN, you would have to send it to one of the following address. If your H-1B spouse receipt number begins with WAC or SRC, then you would have to send your documents to one of these following locations. I will drop a link in the description for cover letter. And thanks for watching the video. And if you find the video is useful, please like and subscribe our channel Daily Mini Bytes. Thank you.